This Sports Blitz podcast is brought to you by LMG. Grow your business through logo design, paper products, and video production. Visit leemarketing.net to learn more.
First of all, baseball-wise, they at least made the NCAA tournament, even though they didn't look so good. Getting swept by Kennesaw State, I don't care how bad that last strike call was, and it was absolutely atrocious. Maybe one of the worst calls I've ever seen in any baseball game, and I say that without exaggeration. You still don't need to be swept by Kennesaw State. And what makes this even more frustrating is the fact that the super regional field may be the worst I've ever seen. So anybody's got a shot. If Alabama just could have beaten Kennesaw State yesterday, they'd be right in the thick of this thing.
Yeah, it's a real shame. It's kind of a two-edged thing where I would have been surprised if Alabama got out of the regional simply because beating Florida State right in Tallahassee was going to be a tall order for our bunch. But the way it played out, we didn't have to do that. We only had to beat Florida State one time down there in Tallahassee, and we did. But instead, we lose to Kennesaw State, and there's, in terms of the roster, I'm quite certain that most experts would agree Alabama had a better roster than Kennesaw State. We shouldn't be losing to those guys. On the other hand, Kennesaw is in a hotbed of talent area. I'd say the North Atlanta, North Georgia. There's as much baseball talent there, Luke, as anywhere in America. They're ideally located for a small school. They do have a couple of that Pentecost guy as a good major league prospect, but no, I think it's impressive that they got their regionals. Impressive that they beat Florida State, but that's a team they shouldn't have lost to twice. No doubt about it.
And finally, talk a little bit about Alabama's latest football commit. It just happened yesterday.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's one right after another during the camp season. That's not unusual for Alabama or any other school, really. Alabama's holding its first camp. Lots of kids coming to Alabama, working with the coaches, and it's just a great time to evaluate kids. And Alabama offered and took a defensive tackle from Woodlawn High School in Shreveport, Louisiana, named T.D. Moten. He's 6'3", 310 pounds. Pretty much the ideal two-gap guy. Alabama plays, in our 3-4 defense. We signed defensive linemen that are responsible for two gaps. It's a bigger kid. Alabama likes big defensive linemen. You can look, Luke, just at the projected starting lineup of Ashawn Robinson, Brandon Ivory, and Jaron Reed to tell that Alabama likes big kids up front. Moten is just the ideal fit for Alabama. That's probably why you see T.D. Moten committing to Alabama now and not waiting on an LSU, for instance, who plays an even man front. And Moten's just a better fit stylistically into what Alabama does.
Well, Jimmy, thanks so much for being with us tonight. We're going to do a Talkin Tuscaloosa hopefully tomorrow, so we hope to have that podcast either up tomorrow night or Thursday. And, of course, we'll keep doing stuff for Crimson Country Club. And we appreciate your being on, buddy.
No, thanks for having me on. Y'all have a great night.
We'll see you later. That was Jimmy Stein, one of my cohorts over at crimsoncountryclub.com, and always a contributor here at Sports Blitz Live, especially during the Bama Blitz. We'll be back in just a minute with more Sports Blitz Live.